Welcome to episode 5 of the network. I am Nathan Lewitt here with Easton John, Trevor Lewitt, and Caden Walker. Once again, we're going to start this episode off with our weekly recap. Caden, what do you got for us?
All right, a lot to cover in this recap. First of all, I want to talk about the Titans losing to the Jets in overtime. They were without A.J. Brown and Julio. Zach Wilson looked a lot better this week. And it's kind of, my take's looking good. I picked them as my team to underperform. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, the Titans' defense has been really just god-awful. It's pretty, I don't know, were they this bad last year? Or
I mean, they had better personnel last year.
I think it's just been slowly decreasing.
But they were still pretty bad last year.
Yeah, but the real factor was not having A.J. Brown there and Julio.
Yeah, I mean, it's a three-man team right now. Their O-line is terrible. Ryan Tannehill, without those weapons, can't really perform at the same level. And then Zach Wilson has not looked good all year, and he looked great.
He looks good this game. Lumen, is that the Titans offensive lineman? I don't know if I'm saying
Taylor Lewan.
Yeah, he's having some troubles with his health.
I think his play in general. He might just be out of his prime.
Yeah. Wasn't Tannehill sacked like 7 times or something like that?
He was the Jets were flying.
They looked like a Pro Bowl defense right there.
Yeah, I mean, they looked great. And I think that just is a testament to how thin this Titans team is. On paper, they have some of the best talent in the league at the top, and then the rest of that roster is really kind of abysmal.
Yeah, it's a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say nobodies, but some bad contracts on that defense. I really didn't love the Bud Dupree signing.
It didn't make sense.
It's just like the Steelers kind of schemed their guys to get a good pass rush, and he was playing opposite T.J. Watt. He was going to get good numbers in that situation. So they probably overpaid him just based off the numbers. And, yeah, I think the Titans, they'll probably win that division just because it is so bad. But I would see them losing in the wild card. Absolutely. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, yeah.
All right. Moving on to the Vikings and the Browns, a 14-7 game where quarterback struggled. My biggest takeaway is that the Browns have a good offensive line, whereas the Vikings do not. And I feel like that was kind of the decider in this game.
Yeah.
They found success on the ground where the Vikings could not.
It was such a weird game because I thought that'd be one of the games that we would be talking about. Justin Jefferson was a big factor for the Vikings. Got a lot of receptions. Did he get a touchdown? Or
he got a touchdown.
He got the only touchdown. Adam Thielen was kind of quiet during that game, which is very rare of him. If you have him in fantasy, I would not jump the gun and get rid of him yet. Because this was just a weird game. I can see him bouncing back next week.
He was playing against a great secondary. I mean, I don't know if I'd say great. A good secondary that's paired with a great pass rush, and that can make that secondary look great. And then when...
it could also be that Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk
Cousins and Baker Mayfield are very similar quarterbacks to me. They both performed really badly in this game. Baker missed Odell on some wide open balls that could have put the game away.
Yeah, that was frustrating for
Speaking of that, I think the only reason why that is because Odell was gone most of last year, and this was his first game back, right? First or second, right?
He's been back in a few games.
He was back last week. He did pretty good last week. I don't know what the problem was.
No, the problem was Baker.
Yeah, the problem was Baker.
Well, see, if you just watching the game, it looked like Baker was trying to throw back shoulder passes, where it looks like Odell was trying to run a fly straight to the end zone, and it looks like by the time Baker, the ball left his hand, Odell was still running and wasn't looking for the pass. So by the time it got to him, it looked like it was underthrown, but it looked like Baker was trying to throw that over-the-shoulder pass where Odell was trying to still run to the end zone.
I don't see Baker Mayfield as that type of quarterback to drop back and just let it loose, like if Aaron Rodgers does.
Not on the fly, but if designed, yes.
Yeah, on design, like over the middle play, like a 10-yard in, 10-yard out.
He can take shots too and play action, stuff like that. I think he's just very off and on. Same as Kirk Cousins, very similar to Derek Carr in that way. These guys can be really hot one game and really bad the next, and there's really no indication of when that's going to happen. It's interesting because he's going to need a contract at the end of this year. They might franchise tag him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it right now.
Yeah, I would
155 yards on 33 attempts, no touchdowns, no picks, but only scoring 14 points against the Vikings team that really hasn't looked too great on defense in these past couple of weeks. It's just rough, but I think you have anything else to say on that? We feel good to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Raiders are no longer undefeated. They lost to the Chargers. The Chargers have had some really quality wins and even a quality loss against the Cowboys, in my opinion.
The Chargers are just keeping the ball rolling. Everybody was saying maybe that game against the Chiefs was a fluke. Now that we know that they beat a Raiders team who has been successful through these past few weeks, they're a team to beat this year, I think.
And they're firing on all the cylinders. Austin Eckler's looking real good.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's looking real good. He's giving the ball to pretty much everyone.
Yeah, the commentator said this, that Herbert doesn't really care about your fantasy team. He's going to give the ball to everybody, and he's not going to specifically throw it to one person and one person only. Maybe he might hit Mike Williams a couple times on a deep fly. That didn't really happen against the Raiders, but
Thankfully, because I would have lost my fantasy.
that one. He only had 2 points.
No, I was surprised to see that Jared Cook still has some juice.
I would say he made Jared Cook actually look really good.
Yeah, especially in his old age. I personally don't think the Chargers are legit. I think that's a pretty thin team as far as depth goes.
Oh yeah,
They're definitely going to take a couple more games
last year
to find out.
when Eckler went down last year, their run game was non-existent.
I mean, even Eckler's not like a really great consistent runner, and I think a lot of that has to do with that offensive line.
And I don't. So you think the Chargers aren't?
I do not think the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers or the Raiders are legit.
Yeah,
but I don't think they have to be. I think the most important storyline out of this is that division is going to be a dogfight.
Oh, heck
and
yeah.
And the Chiefs are going to have a really hard time getting out of this division.
Yeah.
With that, I think there's a good chance that they don't get this bye week. The Bills will probably get the bye week because only one team gets a bye week now in the playoffs, and I think the Chiefs have a really tough road to get to that.
Yeah, the Broncos. I think they're just not going to be the team that we all thought they would be. I think they'd just be kind of holding that division back. But with the Raiders, they haven't played that good of teams yet. But I think they're just a fake undefeated team.
No team's a fake undefeated team.
Well, yeah,
you're saying they're a Mickey Mouse team.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, I just got to ask. You said Broncos. Did you mean Chargers?
No, the
No,
Broncos.
Broncos.
You're talking about the division as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the division as a whole.
Because-
I think the Broncos will be in last.
I flew away there for a second because we were talking about Raiders and Chargers, and you said Broncos, and I got lost.
I felt really good about the Broncos, just because that defense is so good. I guess
But
the Ravens.
Teddy Bridgewater went down.
Teddy Bridgewater went down.
Drew Lock did not look.
Drew Lock looked really
He looked
bad.
terrible.
So injuries might do their season in, especially being in this really tough division.
Did we know what Teddy Bridgewater went down with?
I have no clue, but it does not look good for him.
Pretty sure he was carted off.
But
Yeah, he was carded.
But the Ravens got a pretty good win over the Broncos. It wasn't really even close.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Real
Bridgewater
quick.
got hurt.
How do y'all guys feel about the Ravens not
The
nailing
Ravens-
it and you going forward to get the tying the record for 100
Oh,
yards
you know
rushing?
what? My opinion on that is that if you have a problem with it, then stop it. But as the Ravens coach, as John Harbaugh,
you work too hard for it to not get it. So go ahead and go for it.
Well, no. I disagree because you know what? There's a reason that they have two running backs out and Marcus Peters out. It's because they're trying to. I think they won 20 preseason games in a row, and I feel like they care about all these weird little goals that don't really impact that final goal. The only one that matters is winning the Super Bowl.
You said
and these
that,
little goals.
But these little goals are good motivation for the players.
And these little goals have them without J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, exactly.
I think who would have been a great running back this year.
Oh yeah, and who knows? I think against with Ravens and Chiefs, we probably would have been talking about J.K. Dobbins
Tearing up that team.
Yeah.
And
Instead of
I
Lamar.
agreed that, like getting that, tying that rushing yards from us 100-yard games, that's probably big for their morale. But if you're asking me, would I rather have morale right now, or would I rather have J.K. Dobbins, Marcus Peters, Gus Edwards? Every day of the week I'm choosing those guys.
Yeah, exactly. The Ravens are such a weird team. I feel like every year we're like...
They have nothing on offense except for Lamar right now.
Exactly.
Lamar is keeping that team together, and he's probably a top 5 MVP candidate just based on how valuable he is to what they've been doing. He's obviously had some mistakes. He's played up and down, played well enough to beat the Chiefs, beat the Broncos for undefeated. But it's just a really weird team, I agree. I don't really know where to gauge them at. I think in the playoffs, they have the capabilities to beat anybody, but I'm also not really going to project them to be in the Super Bowl. Not even close.
Not yet. No.
All right, and then my final thing I want to touch on, a lot of AFC talk, but the Bills are on a huge roll right now. They've blown out their opponents in their past 3 weeks after losing week 1 against the Steelers. And I think they're a legit team, very possibly. I just said that I think they're probably my favorite to get that number 1 seed. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, the Bills, I think, they kind of got their season cut off short. They didn't expect to lose in the AFC Championship to the Chiefs. They really wanted that Super Bowl visit. But I think they used that for motivation, and they're just keeping on rolling. And it's scary to see Josh Allen just continuing to beat the crap out of these teams, basically.
And not even Josh Allen, but that defense. I know they haven't played the best offenses, but that defense has looked pretty damn good.
And we'll see. Yeah, that's fine. But that we'll see with this Chiefs and Bills game where they really stand. Because what do you think? Okay, so if the Chiefs beat the Bills, where would you put them
The power rankings?
Yeah, or like playoff. Would you still see them as a number 1, or would you say the Chiefs would be number 1 still?
I'm sorry, you're saying that the Chiefs beat the Bills?
Yeah, if the Chiefs beat the Bills, would you say...
I think the Chiefs have lost too many already. They're in a really tough division. Even if they win that head-to-head, I just feel like the Bills will have an easier road. So that I think... Because the thing about the Chiefs is that their division, they love to screw each other over. Like, everyone in that division, they beat each other every year. So I think just because of that, I'm choosing the Bills. I mean, they played the Dolphins, they play the Jets,
Texans.
they played the Patriots, who haven't looked great. They played the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
They played the Texans this past week. Just for a lot easier schedule, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting what the Chiefs do against the Bills. Man, it's a coin flip, that game. But yeah.
We can get more to that.
Yeah, we'll get more to that.
For our first big topic, this is something that I feel really passionate about. Do you guys feel like this past Sunday, did Tom Brady get his revenge on the Patriots? This past Sunday, did he do that?
The Buccaneers may have won the game in points, but the Patriots won that game in every other aspect.
Oh, yeah. Mac Jones.
I don't get what other way can you win a game other than points.
But, I think what he means by, players.
The Patriots were controlling that game.
It was Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick controlled that game.
You don't
until
control
the last minute of the game when
then you didn't control the game because you lost.
No, that was a chess game. If there ever was one in football, and it was literally played down to the last move.
Yeah,
but I felt like Belichick was exactly where he wanted to be the entire time.
It's weird.
It just so happened to be that they were able to drive down that last drive.
It's weird that we didn't expect this kind of like chess match type of game because Belichick knows what Tom Brady's what is it? Negatives? Weaknesses, yeah.
I mean,
weaknesses are.
Brady looked like crap.
Yeah, he looked confused out there.
Brady didn't have a great game.
But
obviously
it's
the
because
weather,
the Patriots
the weather and drops kind of worked against him.
And
the lack of a run game.
Belichick said this to the reporter at the end of the first half, and I kind of agree. Weather had no play on that game.
I think it would.
I completely disagree. You can say anything you want, but
to an extent, yes. But they still played that game exactly how they wanted that outcome to be.
Yeah.
And that would have, I think,
that game would have. You want the outcome. You want to win.
Oh, right. But up until, except for the scoring outcome, they played that game exactly how they wanted to play it. They controlled the pacing how they wanted to.
I can see that.
And they did to Brady what they wanted to do to him. Just at the end of it, the very last drive, Brady outsmarted.
What he's trying to say is that I
don't see how you get outsmarted. I think you made a dumb decision by kicking a 56-yard field goal
in the rain.
Now,
in the rain.
I personally,
what did Brady have to do with
Go
that?
for it?
Absolutely, you go for it. 4th and 3 against that
Yeah.
secondary that
And-
depleted. Antoine Winfield went out. You got Richard Sherman, who just came off the couch,
Which
who's
Mac
playing a
Jones
whole
completely
game.
destroyed him.
Yeah, Mac Jones he was good,
He's
doing
good
good,
on.
finding the flat, finding the checkdowns. I think he did that a lot most of the game.
He's very accurate. He knows how to play that game.
And I believe they would have got a first down if they went for it.
I agree, and I think they
I
probably
mean,
would have
I
won the game.
personally would
They
have
had the
gone.
momentum and everything.
Yeah,
I
I
think they
personally
had
would
all
have
the-
gone for it myself, but Belichick had the idea that he had faith in his kicker to make it, which he almost did.
Mm-hmm.
He just got
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, though.
true.
And that's why there is no other victory. I mean, you lost the game. I think Brady's
a
had
loss
about-
is a
did
loss.
You guys feel like Brady got his revenge. Can you just answer that for me?
Oh,
No.
no, I don't believe so.
Absolutely not.
I think Tom Brady got his revenge when he won a Super Bowl in Tampa. That's his revenge.
That's what I
That
yeah.
okay,
Now,
so
You
I would've-
leave,
I
and then
would've
you go win a
thought-
Super Bowl
I
when they
would've-
kick you out the
I'd
door.
agree with you on that, but not for this game. Absolutely.
No,
not.
I don't
Yeah.
think because I don't think that him
Like-
being at the Patriots in a regular season game, people were talking the entire week, or really the offseason, when they saw this on the schedule, they were saying, "Ooh, this is one of the biggest games of all time."
yeah,
No, it's not.
They hyped it up a lot.
We're in week 4. The Patriots are trash.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? No one's going to talk about this game. We're going to see it. It's going to be really annoying. Like, ooh, 1 year ago today, the Tom Brady beat the Patriots. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to see that. But beyond that, no one's going to be going to reminisce on this game. Like, oh, remember that crazy
Well,
Buccaneers
I mean-
Patriots game?
Yeah,
The
no
only
ways.
thing that I would say Brady took out of this game as a positive was that he is now the holder of the most passing yards in his career.
and he's beat every single team now,
Yeah.
which is
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So great monuments to Brady are those stats, but
But
he
other
didn't
than
get
that-
his revenge this past game. I didn't like that narrative, and I think he got his revenge when he won the Super Bowl
Yeah.
with a different team.
So with Bill Belichick not going for it, it's 4th and 3, and I'm looking at the Buccaneers defense, and their
And
front.
look at how
their-
Mac Jones is passing.
I know, but the front, the defensive line for the Buccaneers would have been out guns a-blazing. Do you risk their whole entire defense? You know that they're going to be coming because it's 4th and 3, and that will win the game if they do convert.
I mean,
And do you risk them blowing through their offensive line? Maybe Mac Jones gets into pressure and freaking just panics and runs around, or he might get hurt. Do you risk that? That's what I
think absolutely because
think-
they
Wait, why
were,
are we? I don't get why we're playing. Every time you snap the ball, you have the possibility of getting
I mean,
hurt.
Yeah, but
So,
that's,
like-
I think that's what Belichick took into consideration, that he didn't want to put
no,
Mac Jones
absolutely,
in that situation.
absolutely not
to where-
because Mac Jones was taking beating after beating after beating that entire game and still looked like he had been in the league for 5
I
years.
just don't think that when it comes down to it, I don't think Belichick trusted his rookie quarterback to pick up
No,
Yeah,
I think
he
he
that
did.
4th and 3.
No, I
no.
think
If you trust him, then you do it.
Yeah.
Then you go for it. You don't kick a 56-yarder.
Yeah.
No, if you, regardless, I don't think it had anything to do with trust because
How could it not?
he had more trust in his kicker icing the game right there.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Listen,
But
here's another thing.
here's the
Wait,
thing.
here's
I
another thing.
think they would have had a better chance of making the field goal than
Thinking about 4th and
scoring. No, I think they would have had no trouble picking up the 4th and 3. I think they would have had an issue with time and still scoring, regardless if they picked up the 4th and 3.
Yeah,
or
if
not.
okay, well, let's say if he did make that, Tom Brady would have drove down the field.
Exactly.
and
No,
got
he
the
has
field
50
goal.
No,
seconds to 2
regardless.
timeouts.
Yeah, exactly.
So why are you
But-
kicking the field goal? Because Tom Brady is literally just going to go down the field and beat you.
Yeah,
But their defense was playing so well that game.
yeah, that is true. But
I think if they would have kicked the field goal, gotten the points up, and kicked the ball, and they would have had the ball back at the 25, I think their defense would have held them.
we'll never
You
know.
really
'cause
think they would have held
I
Tom
do.
Brady?
I don't. Man, it's confusing because we
Tom
don't know.
Brady
We-
isn't Rodgers, and he wasn't playing good that game. He would not have got down there in 50
I know,
seconds.
but damn.
With 2 timeouts,
but Tom
I'm not
Brady.
betting against. I'm not betting against
But
him.
Tom, never bet on Brady. Tom Brady is
Against-
Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. I think even though he was struggling that game, he would have found a way, but we'll never know because that didn't happen. But
I mean, personally, I would have gone for it.
yeah,
but
I would have gone for it, hands down.
Belichick is a much smarter man at this game than we are.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different variables in his head.
He
that
was-
You can be
is
smarter
placed-
than somebody and still be wrong.
We're
and
playing.
I think he was very obviously wrong.
I don't think he was. I
we're,
really don't.
We're playing checkers, and I think Bill Belichick was playing chess.
I mean,
Oh yeah, he's
and
playing
two,
chess so well that he lost the game
Yeah.
of football. He should have been playing football because man had the wrong game.
Yeah.
But
He
at
lost.
the end of the day, if you ask me, the field goal was still the right choice because
If it
even though he missed the goal, I mean, because if he would have been on target, he had the distance. That ball was going to be there.
But if it was more clear conditions other than rainy and windy,
Maybe if
think
it's
it-
more clear conditions, yeah, then I wouldn't be having this conversation.
I don't think
But I
so.
mean, if you want to say, oh, if it was like he had the power,
who's
okay,
the
well, I mean,
who's
you
the
can say that
pa-
about anything. If this ball would
Regardless,
have been
that was
caught, if this block would have been made, if this
who's the Patriots
That's my
kicker?
point.
Do we know who that is? Can somebody
I
look
forget
at it?
his
Because I
name,
feel like
but
the
I
Patriots
know who it
kicker
is.
in the past has had
Ryan
problem.
Suckup?
No, it's not
No,
Ryan
no,
Suckup. That's
the-
Bucks.
yeah, my bad.
But I think
Folk.
what
Nick Folk.
Folk. Okay, I feel like, and you guys could ask me or say something in the comments. I feel like he has had problems in the past making field goals.
So this is
you mean
why.
his job?
Yeah, like
This is-
he's just
This is why
He's
I
been
think they
pretty
should have
good
this-
the past 2 years.
This is why I think they should have gone for it. The announcers during the game were saying that Nick Folk's plant foot was hurting.
oh
so
my.
if-
So that makes Belichick even look like a
So
more of
if
an
you
idiot.
know your kicker's plant foot
But-
wasn't 100%,
But he was also making
Why you
great
kicking in the
field
rain?
goals that game. He had made other really good field goals though.
he made a 27-yard field goal.
Yeah,
and
that's
he made it
debatable.
and he made it just fine.
But this is
27
56.
versus 55.
56.
I don't
It was 55.
I don't
It's
think
doubled.
I don't think he would have done any different if he had been quote unquote full health. I mean, that looked like a great kick. He just
I think
barely
the
missed
weather-
it for being that far.
Belichick should have took into consideration about the weather and then his foot being hurt.
I
It was
really,
foot
I,
or
s-
plant. It was his plant leg was not 100%.
I still really don't think the weather played any role in there in that kick.
I don't see how you can say that.
The
I don't
rain.
get that at all.
Like, it always has a
The
factor.
only thing
Why
that
do you
rain,
think Justin Tucker
the
made a
only
60
factor that rain is going to play in is going to be the snap and the hold, which were both flawless.
Okay, if it was raining, do you think
But-
Justin Tucker would have made the 66-yard field goal?
Yes,
No!
I think he would.
No!
think
No!
he would.
What? No, no,
He could.
no.
As if the snap and the hold was good, the ball would have looked no differently.
Well, it's just the fact that it's Foxborough weather as well. It's not
Yeah.
just the rain; it's just the environment as
And
a
two,
whole.
they're used to that environment there in Foxborough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a 56-yard.
It's-
Like it's still the wrong decision.
It's just like watching Mason Crosby kick a field goal in the snow.
Yeah.
He's going to kick that ball.
yeah, and
But
if,
Crosby's-
if it's 4th and 3, and I have my quarterback, and you ask me, okay, am I kicking a Mason
Yeah.
Crosby field goal right now, or am I letting Aaron Rodgers?
And it's
go?
Knox. He's not that good. He's not a good kicker.
Who?
What's his name? What?
Nick Folk is good.
Folk.
Nick
He's
Folk
not,
has been good the past 2 years.
he's okay. I feel like he's not been consistent with field goals, and I want to know in the comments if I am.
I can tell you. I can pull up his stats. He had some rough years with the Jets.
Up until
That's
that,
where-
hang on,
okay,
up
that's
until
where
that
it
game,
was.
but that was
up
like
until that
2016.
game.
Okay, that's where I think I remember.
Up until that game, he had completed 19 straight.
19 straight.
Like
Oh wait, no.
in 2020, he was 26 for 28. So he was really good.
Okay.
He had a rough year with the Bucks, 6 for 11. That's kind of a low volume. It's weird.
I
but-
think that's where I'm.
But like he's
getting
he's a good kicker.
Yeah.
But I don't care how good your kicker is. Maybe if you have Justin Tucker, I'll do it.
Here,
but
here.
that's like the only kicker.
Here's Bill Belichick's. Is it Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. He said it really wasn't much
William.
of a decision here. We converted 2 third downs in the game. Nick Folk kicked well. No, there wasn't any consideration. To them, it was Folk was going out there regardless.
I don't care if that's their thought process. They're still wrong.
I mean, we could all have disagreements, but
I'll put it this way. He had made better and more field goals that game than they had completed third downs.
Well, I don't care. No, because I mean, if you kick it, you give Tom Brady a chance to come back and just win the game like that, like on a field goal. All they need is a field goal.
But if you, okay, in that case, then if you scored the next drive or the next play, you do the exact same thing.
But you're not scoring the next play. You're not going to score.
You're controlling the clock, thank you.
Yeah,
you could,
Yeah.
But you're.
but then again, if he's anything like Aaron Rodgers, he's proved he only needs 30 seconds to
Because
get the
this
ball
is-
down anyway.
If Mac Jones would have converted on that 4th down, what was it? It was like 57 seconds left in the game.
50.
After that,
Yeah.
Bucks only had 2 timeouts.
Yeah,
you
it
would
was
have had
59
run
seconds.
2 plays. They would have wasted all the rest of the timeouts, or one more play. Either clock it, or I don't know how many timeouts the Patriots had, or to call a timeout with 3 seconds left on the clock, then kick a field goal.
New England had 1 timeout before that kick, and Tampa Bay had 2.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
even
So
still.
exactly, this is what I'm saying. if you have the ball and you have one timeout and you have 50 seconds left, then on this 4th and 3, you can go up. You can just pick it up because I believed in the Patriots. I think they could have picked it up against them.
I think Mac Jones is doing it all night. You just throw it.
I mean, I wouldn't say doing it all night, but it's
whoever Richard Sherman was.
You can't dial up a play to get you 3 yards against that. Really, that secondary is really rough right now.
Yeah.
And then the risk that you're taking by just kicking the field goal, you're only going up by 1, and then you're getting like 50 seconds and 2 timeouts. Instead, you can drive down the field. You can get closer to get a field goal, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And he would have made it if it was closer.
No, he would. He had the distance.
Well,
he had more. He could have.
You get closer, like you're not. It's going to.
They could have been 10 yards back.
It's going to be better.
Oh yeah, but he could have been 10 yards farther back and would have made it. It was just he was off accurate. He just hit the upright.
What I'm saying though is that like you're going to make it a lot harder for Tom Brady if you take away the clock and maybe even make them use their timeouts. If you start milking the clock, they're going to use their timeouts, and you give them a really hard like decision to make as far as how they're going to use these timeouts.
The Patriots' run game wasn't there for him that game.
No.
He would have had to throw in a short pass, but see, I don't think they would have been playing to run the clock because I think they were going to be needing every single play to get that touchdown if they were going to.
But you don't need a touchdown. You can just get closer.
No, but regardless what their score was going to be, they were going to need every single play. So they were going to be running out of bounds. I believe they would have been going out of bounds.
You just need 10 more yards. You need 10 more yards.
There was 50 seconds left on the
They
clock.
had 60, but okay.
60.
If they would have picked up the 4th down, ran 2 plays, the Bucs would have been forced to use their timeouts.
Oh, I don't disagree.
You run one more play.
Point being is that I believe they would have been making plays towards the end, towards the sidelines to get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Who?
The Patriots.
Well, you can do either or. You can either attack the
why
sideline.
would the Patriots be stopping the clock?
You can. If you want to score a touchdown, you can.
My point is because I think they would have needed every single play and all the time that they could get to even get a score.
No, they wouldn't have done that. They would have run the ball.
Their run game was non-existent.
It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
If you pick up the first down and then run the clock out. Okay, would you rather lose a game missing a field goal with a minute left, or lose a game with no time on the clock left, missing a field goal?
Either.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm losing the game either way.
What I'm trying to say is, if you were to pick up the 4th and 3 and wasted the clock out to 3 seconds left and missed a field goal, and not give the ball back to Brady and then lose that way, which way would you rather lose?
I would rather not let
Brady. Miss field goal with 3 seconds left, or make the field goal and then give it back to Tom Brady and lose that way?
I would say I would not want to give the ball back to Brady at that point.
I would rather give my defense an opportunity.
Why?
That's too risky.
Give them an opportunity to do what?
They were doing so great that game. I would rather go ahead and score.
They can just fall just like that.
They can, but so can an offense.
But I feel like to just play the analytics, like,
and that's what they did. The analytics said they had a better chance of scoring that field goal.
Scoring the field goal, but then you give Tom Brady this chance to come down with 2 timeouts, and all he needs is a field goal.
Yeah.
Instead, you get the first down. You can either attack the sidelines and go for a touchdown. I don't think you have to do that. You get another 10 yards. You make the kick a lot easier, and then maybe through that process, you make them use their timeouts. If not, you're burning time off the clock. You give them like 20 seconds left. Mm-hmm. It's a lot better. It's a lot more favorable for you.
Yeah. So and I'll kill this right now. What Trevor is trying to say is that the run game does not matter at that point. What matters is it's about killing the clock and wasting the clock so that Tom Brady doesn't have the amount of time to get back on the field and score, but you give enough time for yourself to kick the field goal and win and maybe get closer. But yeah, we'll kill there.
Maybe something that we can agree more on. The Cardinals are undefeated. They beat the Rams, who had just beat the Buccaneers the previous week.
And then just beat them. They fucking...
They
destroyed them.
Yeah.
We're barely PG-13 right now.
Last week I said the Rams were a Super Bowl contender. I don't know, man. It's so weird that...
And they lost at home.
They lost at home and they got blown out by the Cardinals.
We need to talk about the Cardinals because we've talked about every other good team, and then the one that's undefeated. I get it, like we need to address the Rams, but can we just give the Cardinals their flowers real quick?
The Cardinals
look scary this year.
They do, and they're not even They're not even using D-Hop as much as they did last year, and they're still winning.
Well, that's because AJ Green. Listen, I'm a huge AJ Green fan.
Yeah, same.
He's looked really good, and that makes me so happy. Rondell Moore has looked pretty good. Christian Kirk has looked better than in years past. That run game,
Edmonds,
that scheme.
Yes,
I think honestly, Cliff Kingsbury, he got a lot of crap last year. I think honestly, he could be my. I was struggling. We didn't even do Coach of the Year at the beginning because we really didn't know who we thought could get it. I think my pick right now would be Cliff Kingsbury.
I agree. With the whole 2 running back system, Edmonds and Connor, they both put like the same amount of numbers up, and it looks like the Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb type thing, and it's scary because they're both. I would say Connor is more of like that Nick Chubb type running back, big, kind of bulky,
Big and physical.
Yeah, Edmonds is more of that shifty type of guy.
Well, their run game, James Conner is kind of this guy that when they lighten up the box, you put him in there, and he can, he give you those tougher yards. And then Chase Edmonds is more of your you got a thunder and lightning similar to what Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard are, just like on a much less talented scale. But Kyler looks like the MVP. I don't know.
For sure.
I don't know how long they can play like this offensively. Their defenses look pretty good. It's not perfect, but their secondary has stepped up. Byron Murphy has stepped up. Chandler Jones has played really well this year, along with J.J. Watt, who's been getting pressures and maybe just taking some more attention away from Chandler Jones to open him up a little bit more.
They look the most functional,
complete
team.
They do look like a complete team. I mean, for them to get these quality wins, for them to blow out the Titans, and then obviously the Rams is a huge game.
At the Rams too, that's insane.
I got a quick question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at a defensive perspective, and you're wanting to stop the Cardinals' offense, what would you want to stop? The run game and force Murray to throw more?
I would force Murray to scramble. Oh man, but he does so good when he scrambles and kind of does what Patrick Mahomes does.
Well, this is the thing. Last year, they said, "Hey, we're gonna make you beat it." Like teams, like obviously the Cardinals had a hot start, and then they kind of fell off towards the end. And they played the Patriots, and I think teams figured out that if you lighten the box, there's really not a running back that can make you pay for it. But now they have James Conner; he can make you pay for it. So you're kind of picking your poison. That's a great question because I don't know what I'd do. Honestly, I would probably make them try to beat me through the run.
And you
run so much, and then you can set up play action. You can set up RPOs.
Exactly. If you get the run game going, and you start putting those safeties and linebackers more closer to the line, and then you get more one-on-one chances.
And you can't say, like, oh, you should do what defenses do to the Chiefs. I mean, the Cardinals' wide receivers are a lot more – it's like an NBA team out there. They're big-bodied. You know what I mean, right?
Oh, I get, yeah.
They're a lot more bigger than,
AJ Green, D-Hop, Max Williams at tight end has played. He played well last week. And then Rondell Moore. Christian Kirk was quiet this past week, but he's looked better this year. They're just a really complete team. I don't really know what else to say about them. I don't see them being my team to come out of the NFC. But as of right now, I could see them being the best team in the regular season. I could see Kyler winning MVP, and I could see Cliff Kingsbury winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can get around with that.
But say if a lot of teams do play differently in the playoffs, and so if the Cardinals still play the same way they are in the regular season, when it does come playoff time, they might have to switch some things up because teams in the playoffs just play completely different than they do in the regular season, so they might have some tougher matchups.
My thing is just like, yeah, they can. I feel like they have the personnel with James Conner, where like, and when it gets colder in the playoffs, then they can switch to this because this run game is really dynamic. You got James Conner who can be your bruiser, Chase Edmond who can be your more elusive guy, and then Kyler Murray also adds a lot in the run game.
Yeah,
he can kind of a Lamar Jackson light. So it makes it really hard to stop. Obviously, he's a more talented passer than Lamar, but in the run game, they have similar. Yeah, he does have a lot. That's interesting. We could maybe talk about that one day. But for right now, yeah, Kyler adds this new level to the offense, and it's just gonna be hard to stop them. I don't know if this is sustainable, this level of play for them, but they beat the Rams. I still think the Rams are contenders. I
Okay,
might
so-
would pick the Rams to beat them in the playoffs.
I could see that.
But I don't know. It's weird to do these power rankings so early, but I think we're finally getting to the stage of the season where the MVP season kind of starts to. The MVP conversation really starts to formulate. Because I think Jameis Winston was in that conversation like week 1.
Yeah.
So I think we're finally we have a good basis to go off now, and yeah, the Cardinals are legit contenders. Everyone knows that. I mean, we're not saying anything special, but I feel like we did need to touch on them because I don't think we've really said a peep about them this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at how all these rookies did this week, rookie quarterbacks specifically, what would y'all rank the rookie quarterbacks so far?
Should we do it like a top 5 type thing, or
Just all the first round rookies.
Oh, first round rookies. Okay.
Quarterbacks, obviously.
Quarterbacks. Man, it's kind of weird, but
Hey, let's start here. Who's your worst rookie quarterback?
Worst rookie quarterback so
Wilson?
far.
Come on.
Can't say Zach Wilson probably, but Trey Lance hasn't started. Jimmy Garoppolo went down, so we'll see how he does. I would say Zach Wilson so far. He's not impressed me as much.
Was there 5 quarterbacks drafted? Or just
So there was Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and then Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Oh, shit.
Wait, was Kyle Trask taken at the top of the second round or the last pick of the first? Obviously,
second
he
round.
was picked.
Second round.
No, he was picked. I thought he was picked first round.
it was 32nd or 33rd. I thought
Who the hell took him?
the Bucks.
The Bucks did?
Obviously, he's not playing. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a backup.
Okay. No, I think he's a third string because Blaine Gabbert.
wait.
Well, but I'm just saying. I couldn't remember who was picked in the first. It's not
Yeah.
important. We're not
Yeah.
ranking him today.
Wait. Who you talking about?
Kyle Trask.
Oh.
Florida State's.
Okay.
Florida's QB.
So I'd
I don't
put.
think I dropped or cut. I don't
He
think
didn't get cut. He did not get cut. He was like their first or second round pick. It's not important.
Yeah.
We're here to rank the rookie
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
I would say Justin Fields is my worst starting quarterback. Rookie
I
quarterback.
say that he has performed the worst, but I do not think it has been his fault.
I don't think it's his fault.
But he has absolutely been the worst.
And then I would say Zach Wilson,
I
and
don't
then
think it's been his fault
and
either,
then
but
Trevor Lawrence. Or wait, no, Zach Wilson, then Trevor Lawrence, and then Mac Jones. Mac Jones is
Mac Jones being your best.
best. Yeah,
So you're not ranking Trey Lance?
Trey Lance. Oh shoot, no, because he is. I don't think he's done.
No,
anything.
we're here to rank all of them. I want you to give me.
He's only got in like a couple times, so I.
Well, he's the starter now. Jimmy
Okay,
G
Trey
starter.
Lance would be my.
Just watching him play, he looked pretty good on the pocket. He has a
did?
great pocket presence.
He's kind
Okay.
of wild, like he's sporadic, but he looks unbothered.
Okay,
Well,
I haven't seen him.
It can end one of two ways.
What was that?
It can end one of
Okay.
two ways.
I didn't really see him play that much, but I don't think I would rank him probably last under Justin Fields if I were to. But
Do you even know what he did?
I don't even know what he. I don't know. I have no clue what he's done so far.
I don't know. To say he was worse than Fields is tough. I don't know. Okay, I don't care about how they've done going forward. The rest of this season, that's
Okay.
what I'm asking.
Okay, so
Who do you think will be the best at the end of the season?
Mac
Mac
Jones.
Jones.
Mac Jones, hands down.
I think Trevor Lawrence will be better the
Okay.
rest of the season.
Yeah, because I think I can agree with that because Trevor Lawrence has he's big, taller. I think he'll have a better pocket preference than Mac Jones. but-
Preference?
or preference
Awareness.
awareness.
Presence.
Presence, yeah. And I think Mac Jones just being with Bill Belichick, they're going to be a good
think-
dynamic duo.
I think
throughout the
Mac
year.
Jones has the best coach
Mhm.
and team to be
But he
starting
also
off
has,
the NFL
like-
with.
He has really rough weapons.
Yeah, but
And that run game really hasn't looked great either. Like, I can say this about... I think Trey Lance probably has the best offensive coach.
oh yeah,
And he probably has the best weapons. Like, especially as far as... all he has to do is dump it off to, like, a Brandon Ayuk... Or not, sorry.
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel.
Mhm.
A Raheem Mostert. Is he getting backs?
No, I don't
this
think
year?
he's. I don't
Okay,
think-
but they still have running backs that can catch the ball out of the
Mhm.
backfield, and then obviously you have George Kittle you can rely on. These guys that can get yards after the catch. So his
Actually-
numbers could just jump off the screen.
Actually, I wouldn't rely on Kittle because he's a little questionable. He's questionable here and there, so I don't think.
think he's
I don't
questionable.
think he's a rookie
He's-
quarterback though.
No, but
We're
he's
just
talking
saying.
about relying on
I
What do you
don't-
mean he's questionable?
He's questionable throughout the weeks. Whenever I look on fantasy, he's always got a Q.
Injured.
Okay,
I thought you meant like his play was questionable.
I
Oh
don't
no, no.
He
I'm just saying
has
like
been
week to
battling.
week. Like
calf injuries this entire season.
I would say Trey Lance probably has the best weapons. Like, out of
I
all the
agree.
rookie quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, my ranking would be Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best,
Mhm.
and then I think this is tough. I'm a big Trey Lance believer. He was my favorite quarterback going into the draft, so I'm going to put him at 2. Mac Jones was my rookie of the year pick just because I liked his situation, and I didn't think Trey Lance was going to start this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like Trevor was inheriting a terrible situation. I think he's overcome that. So Mac Jones is my 3rd, and then I'm going to give it to Justin Fields at 4.
Okay.
Because I think he looked a lot better last week. And then, I'm
it
sorry,
might
I'm not giving Zach Wilson any flowers for what he did to the Titans defense. I don't care.
But
He looks better, which is an
Great,
improvement. He looks really great.
Montgomery really carried Justin Fields though a little bit of that game because he had 2 touchdowns. And
I mean, but Justin Fields was still a
Incredible.
lot better.
yeah.
A lot better when he played.
Oh yeah.
last week.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't
really
take
bad.
much. And he was playing the Lions. But I liked what I saw. And I don't think his play has as much to do with him as a talent and more so his situation, like with Matt Nagy. And then those weapons are pretty good, but when your offensive line is so bad, it almost doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with my ranking, I'll go Mac Jones. I'll do Trevor Lawrence, and then I'll do Zach Wilson, and then man, this is hard. And then I'll do Justin Fields, Trey Lance.
I changed my mind. Trey Lance is winning Rookie of the Year. He's going to be my number 1. Because
Okay.
I think his situation is just that good.
Okay.
No way, I got it. Between Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, they're going in between 1 and 2. I'll probably have time for first. Then I got Trey Lance, then Justin
And so
Fields.
weak, tying anything for first.
I mean, if you ask me, just as of right now, Mac Jones would look better. But I think as
He
the
almost
season
beat-
goes on, I don't see either one of them just going ahead of each other. I think they're going to stay consistent with each other throughout the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We'll just see it. We'll see with this coach.
How's that boring? That's just what I was going to think.
We'll see with this.
you're thinking really boring. Give me a take.
We'll see how this coaching situation goes on.
I really don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to outdo Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is going to outdo Trevor Lawrence. Yeah,
I think Trevor Lawrence will show you a lot more talent than Mac Jones, and they will play at a similar level. But
He did have a great game against the Bengals. I was impressed. Even though they lost, I was still impressed.
He threw a couple dimes in that
Mhm.
game where you're like, wow, I can really see the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I just forgot he was 6'6". Like, he's built like a demigod.
Yeah, he is.
And he's an
He
athlete
is.
too.
Yeah.
He's
got
a
that-
cannon of an arm, and he's super poised in the pocket. So
Oh yeah, he's
going like the rest of their careers, I probably would say Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best, and then Trey Lance will be my very close second. But this year, I got Trey Lance being better, and then Trevor Lawrence being second.
hopefully Trevor Lawrence can get a better coach in there other than
Yeah,
Urban
let's
Meyer.
get Urban Meyer sucks. I think Urban Meyer he'll just leave just because he wants to.
Yeah.
Got a quote unquote serious question for y'all. And I know if I were to ask Timmy Tenders, I know what his answer would be. But do y'all believe the Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Their offense are exploding on everything. Defense, I wouldn't say it's the best, but they
Doing what they need to get done.
exactly yeah.
Zeke looks like he's back to beast mode.
Zeke looks like Zeke again.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Are you
Like,
sure?
I mean, Zeke looks really good,
I
but
don't think he's
Zeke
prime
was
time Zeke.
insane. Like, rookie Zeke
Mhm.
had burst. He had run.
I didn't
like,
say
had
he was.
runs
I
for
didn't
a
say he
long-
was back. I said he's looking.
He
like
said he
Zeke
was
again.
back.
Well, like he's back to where like he's performing well. He's not
He's-
going to have that year.
He's
where
worth
he's
most of his
Obviously.
paycheck
Yeah.
now.
Zeke is performing well, but he's not back to the same caliber of player that he once was.
Mhm.
And then let's not talk about his complimentary piece, Tony Pollard, who has
Oh,
been insane,
Yeah,
lighting it
that's
up.
a good backup type of guy.
Yeah, and then to have Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and then when Michael Gallup gets back, those weapons are great. Dalton Schultz has looked pretty good, especially just rolling that offense. I don't think that they're super creative, but I think they're just that talented. Even with La'el Collins suspended for trying to bribe
Yeah.
I don't even know what you would call it, but the collector.
Mm-hmm. But you guys haven't said one thing about Dak Prescott. That man.
Listen, he's on my fantasy team. He's running away with comeback player of the year.
Oh, hands down, yeah.
Might be trying to etch his way into the MVP situation.
Yeah. Like I was about to ask you, like he could get into the MVP race if he.
He could be in there, but he's just gonna poke his head in. That's what I feel like. And then for Trayvon Diggs to have, I think it was 5 picks in 4 games.
Oh yeah.
He's been insane. He's really took the step up this year.
Micah Parsons is a big factor.
Off the edge. He's relentless. He has a high motor.
A dog. He's a real dog.
He's just one of those guys that's going to work. Because I think he has a lot of development to do as far as like getting a pass rush move arsenal. But as far as his motor, he's just going to plain out work you. And that's where he's going to make his money this year. And he's still my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
He's looked really good. I've liked what he's... I feel like that defense has came alive.
Finally. It's been a couple of years. We've been waiting. Cowboys are like, our defense is going to be good this year, and we've been like, nah.
They had to build that chemistry up.
Yeah, they did.
And they
really did.
And then
it's taken off.
Just their guys stepping up, and like I feel like they're a lot. I don't know. I feel like they're taking pride in it on that side of the ball. Trayvon Diggs, how he's been a ball hawk, and then Micah Parsons and his energy, that has to be contagious for a team. And then they also surround themselves with this new personnel. I'm forgetting that safety's name from the Falcons, that hard hitter. But he's going to be back. And then they also have DeMonte Kazee, who had a huge hit. That was a flag for some reason against the Panthers. But I think they're contenders. I think their offense, they can beat you the most ways on offense as far as the pass and the run. And I'm going to say they are contenders. They have a pretty easy path being in the NFC least.
The NFC looks freaking stacked so far.
Yeah, they do look pretty stacked. I don't know. I feel like when it comes playoff time, the AFC probably will look more stacked, in my opinion. But, yeah, I'm liking this Cowboys team a lot. If they can stay healthy, obviously that's the question with every team in the league.
I got a hot take for you.
Yeah.
And it has to do with Ezekiel's success so far this season. This season is the first season in about maybe 2 or 3 seasons it feels like he's actually a team player.
Oh, yeah.
And not playing just for himself.
Well, he's had to deal with a lot of injuries here and there, but I feel like he's back to where he's having fun, and he's not like, he's not in like negative. He's not in a negative state of mind because he's injured.
Well, not even just that. I felt like 2 to 3 years ago he was.
Give it to me. I'm Zeke.
It's me. I'm Zeke. I'm the best.
Pay me.
We're only good because it's me, and it was a Zeke show.
I don't agree with that. I don't feel like it's ever been a question of his ego. Maybe I don't know. I feel like I like Zeke. I think Zeke is a great guy. I think he's accepting his role with Tony Pollard. I don't think we've ever had issues with Zeke being egotistical. I know there was that time, I think 3 years ago, where it kind of looked like he gave up on the team mid-play. But besides that, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, maybe he's more willing to accept his role now more than ever.
Yeah, because he sees what this team has to bring now.
Just in my opinion, it feels like in the last couple seasons he's been humbled quite a bit, and he looks so much more of a team player now. He fits more with the offense now.
But how are you seeing that on the field? I don't get that.
He's playing so much better.
Yeah, but that doesn't just because I'm playing for my team doesn't mean I'm playing better. Like I could play for myself and play better. Can you I don't get how you're getting that conclusion.
When you're playing for an ego state of mind, your team tends to push you off, and so you're going to not do as well.
And you kind of hold the team back. I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying.
I just don't get and I feel like that can be the case, but I don't feel like I don't get where the basis of that argument. That can be the case to where if you're super egotistical, then your team's going to push you away. But where are you getting that? Just because he didn't play well, I think that had a lot more to do with what Easton was saying and his injuries and his weight. Because he had there was this narrative last year, where he's the heaviest he's been since he was at Ohio State. And people were excited about that. But a lot of times...
it didn't aid him any.
Sorry?
Didn't seem to aid him any.
Well, yeah, because I think there are certain points where you can get a little bit too heavy. We saw that with Amari Cooper on the Raiders, who went up in weight, and it was all muscle.
Yeah.
But then he dropped back down. He was a lot better for it. So I think that helped a lot. He doesn't have the same burst. I think maybe now they're utilizing him better. But I don't agree that he had this problem where it was all about him, and the team didn't like him because of that. I've never heard a Cowboys player I hate Zeke.
Yeah.
I don't like playing with him.
But I can see where...
It's just the kind of the picture it seems to have been painted around him
But
for the
maybe-
last few years.
I mean, why? Like,
But
what
I don't-
pictures? I don't get where
I
you're.
don't think that was. I don't think his team sees him that way. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
the
no,
way
no.
social
I think
media. and
yeah,
other
that's
things
Right,
that's
yeah.
what I was just about to
I don't
say.
disagree with
People
that.
just don't like the Cowboys. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna pin
Oh,
you like
well.
that. I don't think his play is like.
But see, okay, but where I get with that is like a lot of times, like, wow, of course I'm drawing a blank. Chiefs quarterback, Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes.
Mahomes looks like that a lot of times.
What? Like what?
Looks like it's a me game, and like
No, he
Mahomes
no,
is-
no, that's completely different.
But-
because he plays hero ball.
He
Yeah.
does.
Yes.
Yes. he
But
plays-
but Zeke's never played hero ball. Zeke's just played running back.
yeah, yeah. He's just kind of a beast.
Because I mean, you can't. I mean, unless like you're like running like back and forth as a like going completely horizontal instead of vertical, there you can't really play hero ball from the running back spot. Like Mahomes can play hero ball just by no look passes and then trying these different crazy things, and going around the pocket like that. But as a running back, Zeke's just gone up the middle. Like I mean, you can't really play hero ball in that same sense.
But what I think Nathan is trying to say is that people, it's just, I think it's the media that says, oh, Zeke's this,
And I'm
Zeke's
looking
that.
at it as a public view, not my personal opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a
But
public
yeah,
view.
but when it comes to the team,
Because
I
like
bet
last season, I would have been like, I don't want Zeke on my team anymore.
Yeah.
Like I would have dropped him.
Yeah, but
personally
then
2 years ago.
yeah,
I mean,
but if you're from a
that-
player standpoint, you're probably like, or if you're on the Cowboys, you're probably like, no, I don't want Zeke to leave. Like,
No, you love
can't-
Zeke.
no.
Right.
But as people, as
As an outsider who knows
Yeah.
none of the inside scoops.
as someone that watches, people are gonna be like, why Zeke's holding the team back or something like
Well,
that.
what I
I'm
thought
not going to
more
say
was.
holding the team back. You just kind of look at like what has
He wasn't.
done.
It didn't look like he was benefiting
That's-
the team.
yeah, that's
anymore.
benefit
I thought
us.
he had regressed just because of how many carries he's taken on. We don't see guys get that many carries and continue to be as good unless you're Derrick Henry. So I might regret that take I made a couple episodes ago. but what I'm saying is I thought he was done just because he probably took on too many carries and was going to be injury prone and didn't have the same burst that he had when he was a rookie in the following 2 years. But I think that's just more so to do with like running back's lifespan. Like I feel like he's found new life in his new role, and I don't think just because he was being looked at differently. I don't really get it. I don't understand what y'all are saying. I get you're saying that he had this bad perspective by the media because he wasn't performing well, but
That's basically what we're
there-
saying.
There for a while, it felt like he just had this whole like aura about him that I don't care. There for the longest time, like you would see, like
Like him not going to practice and stuff.
that, and also
did he not
when
go to
you
practice?
Well, like
plays.
there was like a point in
like-
time where he took
like
practice
2 whole
off.
months where he just wouldn't go to
he
practice.
talked summer camp off.
was he trying to get a new contract?
Yeah, when he was asking for his contract,
When
and
he was
wanting
asking
more
for
money.
We
money.
see
and
so
stuff.
many players do that. I don't think that's a
I mean,
matter
I
of
don't
not caring. That's
don't disagree, but when it's you being talked about, you don't look good. And he was the one being talked about. But when you're being talked about, you look bad. So, but where I'm getting with the whole Zeke thing, there was also like besides him not going to practice, there was when you set up a play that's a run, you want your receivers to sell your corners to go down the field, make it look like it could be a pass play, go into blocking positions. There for the longest time when they would do a play and it wasn't a run orientated play, Zeke was just standing there watching the play out in the secondary.
Okay.
Like he wasn't contributing, and
Yeah.
and that's what I see a lot of times when people talk negatively about Zeke.
Yeah, his motor might not be the best, especially years prior to this one. And,
But now like this season, he's making all those attempts. He's doing everything.
But maybe he was just getting too much of a workload into to be like.
Now
to be
I
that
think he was
player
trying to
where
make
you're
a
asked-
statement.
I don't know. I think it's more so like when you're asked to do so much, there comes a time where like you're gonna need to like stop for a second. Like I know this is like completely like different, but LeBron when he was playing with the Cavaliers and he was doing everything offensively
By
as far as
himself.
then he just couldn't play defense because your body will literally tear you apart when you're doing both of those.
And
maybe-
that's what I get by. I think he was trying to make a point, trying to make a stand, and that's how he was getting at the people who weren't listening to him above him. Just, you want me to do something, then I'm not going to do it until you give me what I want.
and
But regardless, that's That's the kind of outcome I was wanting out of that.
Okay, but yeah.
So we love reading the comments, or the few comments we do get on our shows. And one comment we got is from the House of Chin. It's from our good buddy Brandon Chin. And because last week we mentioned something about targeting calls and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
He is somebody who believes targeting calls should not be in the game. They take away from what the game used to be, and wants to see a revision around targeting calls to let football get back to a big hit
Trevor is itching to
type
answer
of
this
game that
question.
it used to be.
Trevor,
And this is why I believe, I might be talking for you, Brandon, but I believe this is why you said you like the XFL so much.
I got something to say about that. And this is just coming from someone who sees things from a health perspective and trying to keep the players healthy and stuff like that. One of the biggest things that drives me up the wall was the targeting call on defensive players is coming from a health perspective.
It's big.
They call the targeting call when you're leading with the counter helmet hitting anywhere on the offensive player. Now tell me why an offensive player can lead with their helmet and not get called for targeting. I think if a defensive player can't do it, an offensive player can't do it either. I also think it needs to be called more consistently.
Mm-hmm.
You see sometimes that they lead with their crown on their helmet, it doesn't get called.
yeah, they make it. The NFL makes it such a big deal, but they rarely call it.
I won't say they rarely call it. They do call it when it's very obvious.
But then again, I feel like the one against Adams 2 weeks ago now
That should have been
was-
targeting.
Yeah,
was
that was
completely
definitely
obvious
targeting.
and completely missed.
What I need to say about this is, I love big hits in football, and I do feel like a lot of the rule changes are to benefit the offense and to protect offensive
Exactly.
players. And,
Even-
these
even-
rules have been putting defensive players at risk because defensive players, when a quarterback is starts sliding and you're coming down to hit them, you really can't avoid it. You're already
Exactly.
you have to
You're
put
already
yourself
in
at
movement,
risk. You have
yeah.
to put yourself at risk to not hit them. It's not fair. We see Derrick Henry and
Well,
those power running backs.
see-
We see Derrick Henry and these power running
Yeah.
backs put their head down and do the exact same thing that
Demolish,
defenders
yeah.
are doing, and they don't get called for
Exactly.
it. And lastly, I hate helmet to helmet. If a helmet to helmet, you should be ejected because that is CTE. Like, I love big hits, but I love clean hits. And if you're hitting someone helmet to helmet, you should be ejected and you should be fined and you should be facing a suspension because you're playing with a man's livelihood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
and that-
get so much career doing that.
yeah, exactly.
And
You can
it's
do that.
not-
Look
it's
at
not
Ryan
something-
Shazier. Ryan Shazier can barely walk. I mean, he's recovered now, but not even completely. He never got back to playing football. And sure, that was more on him, but that just goes to show when you lead with your helmet, you're even putting yourself at risk. And he's out of football now, and he had to go on this long road to recovery. He'll never be the same. He will never be the same.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. The NFL makes it such a big deal. Why not call it more often? I mean, to go off your point with defense, it kind of makes them scared on what they need to do in order to guard them right.
I don't think it should be that though, because if there is a specific way you cannot tackle, then get more skilled and tackle correctly.
I know
That makes you more fine-tuned as a player.
like 2 years
What do you
ago
mean?
when I
Explain.
first
Like,
sorry.
if you-
Elaborate on that more.
If you can't tackle by leading with your helmet, then
Get
tackle
good.
differently.
Get good.
Yeah, tackle properly. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
because
you
and
can
if you
still
have,
get big hits and
I mean,
big
you can,
tackles
without
just leading
leading.
with your head up.
Yeah.
If you ask me,
now an
that-
accidental
that's how-
helmet to
that's
helmet,
how- That's how.
like if you don't lean in and you get an accidental helmet to helmet, that doesn't need to be called.
If you ask
But
me,
if you're leaning
the
in and not
most-
looking,
But like
The
that, but
most
when you
missed
want the
tackles
play, when
are
you want
leading
that to
with
be
the
more
helmet.
consistent, when you want that to be more consistent, like then
also wanna
how
look-
are you going to differentiate what's accidental and what is on
that's,
purpose?
Exactly.
That's what
That's
they
pretty
look at
tough
in
to-
intentions. Now, if you
Yeah,
ask
but
me,
you
the
can't-
Adams hit
intentions
looked
is-
intentional.
Intentions are just so like objective. Like
It is.
if you want more consistent like
You're gonna have
calls,
to call
then
everything.
you're
Yeah.
then you have to call it every
especially the
time or
first year.
never.
Like, even if it is an accident, you're gonna have to call it just to prove the point. Like,
Now, I will be honest with you, and I know this might be controversial as well. I honestly feel like, especially here in these last couple of seasons, college has been better at calling these targeting calls
I can.
than the NFL.
I can agree
Yeah.
with
Because
that, 'cause
there
it seems
is
like they
a-
review them more often
Well,
in
there-
college and
Regardless
NFL.
if it's ever called on the field, there is a ref watching every single replay,
Mhm.
like before every ball is snapped, to see if I think it was either last season or season before at Arkansas State, we had played 2 plays, and they went back looking at a call or looking at a hit 3 plays prior and ejected somebody for that hit.
Yeah.
And made the call, made the adjustments on the field, and we went back to that point. That is the first time I've ever seen a play be like 2 or 3 plays old,
Yeah,
and they go back to that
And I don't know why I'm getting like this. You guys aren't pissing me off, but like this whole conversation is like pissing me off because like NFL refs don't have a handle on pass interference and helmet to helmet. The most important calls that you need to make in football.
Another thing that I feel like they don't handle as well, especially like 2 and 3 years ago, was roughing the passer. And and when they changed the rule when you couldn't sack the quarterback and put your weight on him, so many controversial calls. As a Packers fan, I remember against the Vikings with Clay Matthews. Just horrific to watch.
Yes.
Or even the one where Aaron Rodgers got hit by the Vikings and they broke his collarbone, and they didn't call that roughing the passer.
Yeah, it's weird that you're at a professional level of the NFL and college refs are more consistent with
and
those
I hate
calls.
college refs.
And why are they so consistent with those calls? And you have NFL and you're at the professional level and you're just like, ugh.
Now,
sometimes I feel like college is a little bit too eager to call it, though, because sometimes they'll go back and look at these replays,
but hey,
and I don't feel like it is targeting.
I would rather everything be overcalled than undercalled.
I mean,
but with something with targeting,
I can agree with that.
But it can really hurt the flow of a college game.
Oh, it can,
because there's a lot of targeting
but
calls
so
in
does
college games.
killing a kid.
But
I get it. Like long term, it is better to call it and get it out of the game.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I would rather it be overcalled. It's just I wish. I mean, in a perfect world, it just gets called when it needs to. Because I do feel like it gets called a lot in college when it maybe shouldn't be, and players are ejected.
But I think you're actually going to see it more in college because they're learning more at that stance. And so those mistakes are going to be made more often.
And
there's
it's not
no
hurting
games.
your money.
Right.
Exactly.
You're not going to lose your scholarship because you got a targeting call. You're just
exactly like when you lead with your helmet in the NFL and you get called for it, even if you don't get called for it, you're gonna get a fine, and that's a big fine.
Yeah, it's a learning point too for them too.
Now, my take on the whole roughing the passer thing, I think if you're outside the pocket, just like you should be able to be hit
as a runner.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, okay, in the 2018 AFC Championship with the Patriots and Chiefs, I don't know who it was. I think it was Chris Jones. Tom Brady made a pass, and Chris Jones hit his arm. Hit what?
Like hit him in the face mask?
No. Hit his arms after the throw, and they called that a roughing the passer. And I want to say to those refs,
well, that's the Brady treatment, though.
No, but like to those refs, why is that a why is that a roughing the passer? But
I just told you why.
It's Brady treatment.
It's Brady treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna see when Mahomes gets up there, you're gonna see the same thing.
So
I guess week 4 overview.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go.
So moving off the comments, thanks Brandon for commenting. I'm sure I'll see you again on this next one, and I hope to see more than just Brandon commenting because we get about 15 comments per episode, but they're all Brandon. So real quick, we're going over to week 4 review with Easton.
Yeah, it was kind of average. Me and Nathan both got 8, and Trevor and Caden tied with 9, which is weird.
Out of our picks from last week.
Yeah, out with our picks for next week. So let's.
And then moving on to week 5, our first matchup this Thursday, or tonight, I guess, is the Rams versus the Seahawks.
Rams and Seahawks? I got Rams.
Seahawks look sad. I'm taking Rams.
Rams. I think Rams are going to come off mad and then throw them the throat to the Seahawks.
And then next we got Jets and the Falcons. Taking Jets on this one.
Falcons.
I got Falcons. I also think that
both
Jets...
1-3 teams. Jets coming off of a good win.
I saw what Zach Wilson can do when he's facing a bad defense, and I think we might see that again. So I'll take the Jets.
Yeah, I said Falcons.
Okay. And then we have the Patriots and the Texans. I take Patriots.
Patriots.
I got the Patriots on that one. I don't think...
Texans.
I got the Patriots, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got Patriots.
Cool. Now we got Lions and the Vikings.
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 Yeah, I'll go with
Easy.
the Vikings.
I mean, I'm going to say Vikings again, but we all got that one wrong last week.
Oh, you're trying to call an upset, man. Can you really blame us?
You gotta call this one upset.
And then we got the Eagles and the Panthers.
Ooh,
That
man.
should be a Panthers, if you ask me.
I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm gonna see.
Well,
Man, the
because
Eagles
of
have the D line to do it, and I feel like Jalen Hurts.
But is
Panthers
Christian
might have
McCaffrey
issues.
gonna come back though? I don't think he will.
Even then, you know what? I'll take the Panthers. I don't care.
I'm gonna take.
Yeah, I'll take the Panthers.
And I'm taking the Panthers.
I'll
'cause,
take Eagles.
I mean, they destroyed the Saints, so a team who's been doing quite well.
They lost the Giants. I wouldn't say they're doing quite well. Listen, the Saints got a quality, like a really blowout win against the Packers, and since then they just
Booty.
Yeah.
And they only lost by one possession against the Cowboys. So I'm taking Panthers.
Okay.
Then we have Saints versus the football team.
The football team.
The football team. They're both 2-2.
I'll go with the Saints that game.
I'll go with the football team.
I'll go with the Saints. The football team looks pretty rough right now.
No, I'll go Saints. I'm gonna change.
Yeah, I'm
to
going.
Saints.
I mean, the football team only won by 1 point against the Giants. I'm taking the Saints. Next, we have the Titans and the Jags.
Do we know if AJ Brown and Julio are going to be out again?
The Jags.
No,
are-
actually, no. Derrick Henry owns the Jaguars. I'll take Derrick
Yeah,
Henry.
I'll take.
I'll take
Titans.
Derrick Henry alone.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Henry.
Derrick Henry.
taking the Titans.
Titans. You mean Derrick Henry?
Sure.
Yeah.
Next, we got Dolphins and the Broncos.
Gosh.
No, we actually had the Dolphins and the Buccaneers.
Did I say Broncos?
Yep.
I was like, that'd be a good game. Buccaneers.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll take the
Bucks.
Bucks.
Yep.
See, that's one I almost want to take the Dolphins on.
Wait, are they playing? They're playing at Tampa. I'll give it to the Bucks.
I'll give it to the Bucks too, but watch me bite my tongue after that one. Next, we have the Packers playing the Bengals.
I got the
Packs.
Packers.
Yeah, I'll choose the Packers. Is
Packers.
Jared healthy? Like, what's wrong with Jared?
Jared, I think he's gonna be gone.
I heard
for a
he's
couple-
going to be out for a couple weeks. Maybe
I'm gonna
6 at the
cry.
most.
I'm gonna cry.
I mean, no, that secondary is terrible now. Like, we're gonna
Yeah.
play up Eric Stokes, and then is Kevin King healthy now?
I think he's back.
Kevin King.
But he's like a 66 overall.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
Eric Stokes and Kevin King.
Lost us a freaking...
Seeing
All
the
right.
Chiefs are in trouble defensively.
Next, we got Broncos and the Steelers. Yeah, this one is the Broncos, I promise.
Broncos and the Steelers. Let's
taking-
go Broncos.
I'm taking Broncos.
I'll go
Broncos.
Playing at Denver.
At,
Yeah.
No,
At Pittsburgh.
Hines?
at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'll go Pittsburgh. I'll
I'll
go.
go Broncos.
Still taking Broncos.
I'll go Broncos just with that defense.
That offensive line is really rough, and Big Ben's even worse. So.
Next, we have the Bears and the Raiders.
I'll
Raiders.
take the
I'll take the Raiders.
Taking Bears.
Fair enough. It's a good upset pick.
Next, we have Browns and Chargers.
Mm.
The
It's a
Chargers
real
look-
big game for the.
I have faith the Browns could do it, but the Chargers are home, so I'm taking the Chargers.
If the
Yeah,
Chargers
I'll take the
lose this
Chargers.
game, that will totally change our view of them. I think
Who?
the Chargers.
The
Man, I
Chargers.
think if the Browns lose this game, our perspective should shift.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Browns,
I'm gonna take
but
the
I'm
Browns
not very
too.
high on the Chargers like you guys.
I'm gonna take the Browns too.
I'm taking Chargers. I can see Browns winning, but I'm taking Chargers. Chargers are home. Next, we got the Giants versus the Cowboys. Them big old boys and Giants in New York. They're taking the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I have the Cowboys, but I think this will be closer than anybody expects it to. think
I
so,
wouldn't
too.
be surprised.
Yeah, Cowboys.
I really would. But I also expect it to be 52-0.
Well, then maybe you should be a little surprised.
Next, we have the Cardinals playing the 49ers.
Cardinals.
I'm
take
kinda
Cardinals.
antsy.
Oh, I'm going to say
Listen,
49ers.
I'm kind of liking the Trey Lance and in the Cardinals reign.
Same.
I know we just talked about them being the best team in the NFL, but I like Trey Lance, so give me the 49ers.
Taking the Cardinals.
I want to go 49ers. I think that's going to be the upset game.
Okay.
They don't have much stuff on Trey Lance. They don't know
Got
how
the
he
game of the
plays.
week right here.
Yeah, true.
But you ask me, that's going to be his opening game, and that's going to be rough.
That's gonna be a rough one.
I don't know. I
Look
like
at
it.
that- Look at
Okay.
that
I like it.
defensive. Look
I
at
like
that
49ers.
defense.
Okay.
All right, next we got the Bills versus the Chiefs. I'll take the Bills.
Game of the week right
That's
here.
oh my
I
god.
take the Bills.
I will always say the Chiefs. The Chiefs are gonna win.
The Bills are taking it.
I want the Bills to win.
Man,
Look at the Bills' competition over the weeks, though. They lost to the Steelers, and then they played the Dolphins.
I just
the
don't see the
Texans.
Chiefs dropping another, and I feel like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are probably built to.
We beat them in the
But
AFC
the Bills
Championship last year.
this season have, regardless of who they played, they still had 2 blowouts that went for over 35 points.
They had 3
But
blowouts.
the
I mean,
Dolphins
okay,
suck,
I'm
and
talking
the
about,
Texans
like-
suck.
Like shutouts.
Like shutouts. And I mean, they blew out the football team 43-21, but they had 2 shutouts and went for over 35 points.
I
I mean-
feel like the Chiefs have to bounce back. I know like they just beat the Eagles, but it's the Eagles. Like, they need a quality win.
But they also, up until the end, looked pretty bad against the Eagles too.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think this can continue. I feel like they need a quality win. And
I don't think it can continue either, but I think it will.
Oh my God, I can't wait for the Chiefs to win. I'll be like, oh, I can't wait.
And then last for Monday Night Football, we have the Colts at the Ravens.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ravens.
Ravens.
Colts
Carson
suck.
Wentz. Yeah, Wentz is trash.
you know, the Colts do suck. That's weird.
The Colts are gonna win.
Listen, it could very
Okay.
well happen.
This is what I'm
I'm
looking
not
at.
picking it to happen.
I'm taking the Colts. They went up against
Just
the
lost.
Rams. They lost the Rams by a field goal. That's about the only one they did. I'm still taking the Colts.
I'll take the Ravens, but I don't think it's quite as bad as
Let's go
you guys
for
are
another
making it out to be.
15-6 out of 16 week. Let's
There's no way
go.
that's happening again. Alright.
All right. So after we've talked a nice, glorious hour of NFL, I think Trevor has us a nice little fancy recap for college football. As just like the NFL, it was full of a bunch of upsets.
Sure was. Cincinnati obviously beat Notre Dame. I wouldn't necessarily say it was an upset, but it does bring into the conversation that Cincinnati top 4 team. They're going to be a college football playoff
Yes.
contender this year.
I don't think Iowa should even be in even touch the top 4. I don't think they've played the right people to be in that top 4. I think Cincinnati has just put them in the top 4 conversation. Iowa should not be in there.
Another one
Desmond
was
Desmond Ritter for Heisman. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
another thing was Kentucky beat Florida. That completely kicked Florida out.
Yeah.
I know they lost to Alabama and they were ranked 10 previous to losing to Kentucky, but just losing to Kentucky now completely gets them out of the conversation.
Yeah. See you, Gators. Bye.
If
Don't wanna-
Cincinnati's 5, it's going to be really tough for them to get to 4, I feel like.
I don't know. I think
I think the
easily.
only way they could get to 4 now is
Is
if
if they drop, if the other teams drop.
Iowa loses a game or Penn State loses a game,
Yeah, I don't think Iowa's played the right competition to be in the top
or
4.
if Cincinnati just blows out some
at
people.
Cincinnati played Notre Dame, and that's really it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's all they have. The rest
Yeah.
of
I
the
know, that's all they
schedule,
can
yeah.
do. Like, they proved themselves. Like, but like, let's not act like they've had a really hard schedule either.
I don't think. Yeah. See.
I mean, at least Penn State and Iowa play each other. So
But just real
that
quick,
might cause one of them to drop a spot.
Easton, who would you put in your top 4 right now?
Who I put in my top 4? I put Georgia number 1. They look the scariest out of the top 4, and then I put Alabama, and then I'd put Penn State, and then I'd put Cincinnati.
What about you, Caden?
I put Georgia 1, put Alabama 2, I put Penn State 3, and I like Cincinnati, so I'm just gonna put them 4.
All right. Yeah.
What's so funny?
He just very descriptively said the same order that Easton said.
When you asked me that question, I was on my phone looking at Pro Football Focus.
I was also really hoping you would ask me because I was going to say
The same
I
thing.
was going to say Georgia, Bama, and football team and football team.
For me, it felt like when you zone out in math class, and then they're like, they ask you to solve the equation, and I was like, and thankfully I got a grip, and I was like, I had no idea that was. I zoned out.
Which is also really funny because that's the order Trevor gave us before we started.
No,
talking.
I saw Cincinnati 5.
Oh yeah, you said Iowa.
I like Cincinnati; it's more fun.
I got Georgia first, then Bama, then Penn State and Iowa, then Cincinnati being 5.
Okay.
I have a combination of those 5 in some order.
I got A-State at 8.
A-State.
A-State, yeah, number one.
We're beating Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, we're beating
We're
Coastal.
gonna claim their spot in the power rankings,
That'd be something
the
else.
national rankings.
I think we'd
Yeah,
have
be
to fire,
top.
fire our defensive coach, draft an entire new defensive lineup.
Yeah, we're entering the draft. We're gonna go with top talents.
Hey,
from Alabama.
we can bribe players now, so we'll start shucking out those millions that we can't pay our workers.
I know, like we're going on a little bit of a tangent here, but do you ever think like, what if I put like just grown man like Derrick Henry or like Aaron Donald in like
Hey,
in the
yeah.
Sun Belt and
Yeah.
just like see what happens?
I think you could pick the best defensive player out of the NFL, put him with our defense minus the person he took over, and I think we'd still be.
I know for a fact. Like if Derrick Henry played us, if Derrick Henry played us with a high school line, he'd go off for 400.
He would have a touchdown every time he touched the ball.
Yeah, even with a high school like line. Like,
Should I leave this in?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm gonna get fired if they
That's
find this
fine.
I
No
mean,
one-
you haven't said anything.
Okay, yeah, I'm
This
not saying a
is-
single thing.
This is commentary. I mean, I just wanted to propose. What if we put like Derrick Henry against like a Pop Warner team? That would be awesome. Like, you ever seen like Tyreek Hill versus like 100 kids? Yeah.
Well, I believe that is going to be our episode 5 wrap up. Definitely, absolutely keep leaving comments on the videos. We love reading them, seeing what juice we might be able to get out of it for our next conversation. And with that, we're sorry for an hour bomb, but you've got it. There you go. Have a great week. Enjoy week 6 of the NFL or 5 of NFL and 6 of college. Who cares anymore? It's football. We just want to watch it. Have a good one.